An awkward dinner. I will help you under one condition. I am looking for someone myself, a friend of mine. He disappeared last Saturday. I fear he was abducted. When I searched his flat, I found a document that showed he had something to do with your uncle and the old Mr. Danforth. Your uncle is called Harry MacArthur, isn't he? Marianne flinched a little when Ella mentioned the name. Yes, it's him. All right. So do you know if he might have any kind of dealing with a Mr. Pedro Cardoso? I am sorry, I never heard that name. It sounds foreign. Is he even British? Has he fought in the army? If he has, my fiancé might know him. His father was Portuguese, but he's British and he's been a sergeant in the British military, yes. If you had talked to him, you wouldn't know. He's a little darker, though. Well, as soon as we find my fiancé, I'll ask him about it. A dead end. Would you please not tell your uncle? Ella hesitated, searching for the right words. He might be involved in the abduction? She looked at Ella with open curiosity. Well, I didn't mean to imply, but yes, the thought has passed my mind. Oh, don't worry, you are not hurting my feelings. I don't know if he would engage in something like this, but what I do know is that he is fully capable of it. I won't tell anyone, Ella. Would you do the same for my worries about my fiancé? Ella affirmed, and finally went to find the solve, with the firm intention of doing some investigation around the house, as she now had 2 cases to take care of. It took Ella some time to find someone who could show her the medicine cabinet in that large house. Finally, a young maid indicated the way. The salve in question was almost used up, which was good, she supposed, as it would give her a reason to go to the nearby village next morning. Ella needed to find a way to contact my cousin Margaret and tell her about her findings, or rather, the lack of them. Hopefully she'd have some advice for Ella. And she needed to know exactly what she had meant with that warning about Mr. Danforth. Thinking of which, Ella asked the young maid if she knew anything about the younger Mr. Danforth, but she only shook her head. I've not been here long enough, miss. Have never seen the man. You might ask Poppy or Cook for that sake. They've been around when he disappeared. If you don't mind, miss, I have to go. There's dinner to be set. And with a small curtsy, she went her way. Ella took the salve to Marianne, helped her apply it, and promised to get more the next morning. Then she went to change for dinner herself. When Ella finally made it downstairs, the tension in the dinner room was palpable. Lady Agnes sat at one end of the long table, her dress of the newest fashion, her grey hair done up intricately. An elderly gentleman with piercing grey eyes sat on the other. They stared at each other in silence, as did Lady Marianne and another gentleman about the age of Ella's father, with brown hair that was starting to grey. Marianne's uncle, she supposed. No one seemed to have recognized Ella's presence yet. She cleared her throat, and 4 pairs of eyes shot toward her. The elderly gentleman she had made out to be the elder Mr. Danforth made the first move. Miss Eleonora Everett, is it not? Yes. Have we met before? Ella answered in confusion. She was quite sure she had never seen the man, although something about his posture and facial expression seemed strangely familiar. Oh, not personally, of course, but Lady Agnes here has told your praises as a nurse, has she not? Agnes nodded curtly, but when Ella sat down later at the place between her and Harry MacArthur, she told her quietly, I did no such thing. Be careful, dear. Then she added much louder, So, Mr. Danforth, when are we expecting the groom to arrive? Danforth cleared his throat. MacArthur spoke, a sly smile on his face. I might add to the question, is he going to show up at all? The sound of it seemed suggestive of some meaning that Ella was not quite able to grab. Well, as you know, Danforth addressed MacArthur and seemed to completely ignore Lady Agnes, carefully avoiding looking at her. "The boy is obstinate, but even he sees the advantages of this union, and yes, he will be there." His voice carried contempt and a subtle threat. Lady Agnes ignored the undertones. "I wonder about the way you speak about young Mr. Danforth. Would you not be interested to sing his praises, given that you are the one most interested in the union and the title it entails?" "Well, I find it hard to invent praises where there are none to be sung." Ella started to feel sorry for the young man cursed with such a grandfather. No wonder he was staying away every minute he could. She herself started to feel highly uncomfortable. If these two men indeed had to do something with Pedro's disappearance, it would not make her search any easier. Danforth continued. "And why do it, my dear lady, if there's nothing I can say about a boy that could risk the outcome? Better let her get into it prepared, isn't it?" Lady Agnes seemed to get more tense by the minute. "She does have a head of her own, you know." "But does she have any options?" Ella looked at Marianne. She had shrunken in her chair with every word. Ella felt sorry for her. MacArthur continued with the cruelty. "Not particularly. Not if she doesn't want to end up as a destitute spinster, that is." Ella had nothing to say. Ella had to say something for Marianne. "Oh, for God's sake, we live in the 20th century, don't we? Marriage is not the only choice for a young woman any more." "And pray tell, Miss Everett, what are the options for a young woman who cannot properly walk?" Danforth feigned interest, but from his tone of voice it was clear the question was meant rhetorically. All the more reason for Ella to come up with an answer. She could work in an office, be a secretary, maybe even study. Many universities do accept women now. There's even a women's unit in London police. What should we not be able to do? "Well spoken, Miss Everett." That was Lady Agnes. "And what are you doing, my dear Miss Everett?" With this, Mr. Danforth hit her sore spot. She had resigned from working as a nurse, as it had become increasingly clear that she was not needed any more now the war was over, and most of the wounded men had returned home. Before the war, she had studied social sciences, but she was not sure how to make a profession out of that. And to be honest, while she would like to feel useful again, what her heart desired was the contradicting all the brave speeches Ella was giving on this table. Frustrated, she sliced the beef on her plate. Ella would not give Mr. Danforth the satisfaction of letting him see her insecurity. And then she surprised herself by saying, "I am a private investigator, sir." MacArthur laughed. "And I am the Emperor of China." "What do you investigate, Miss Everett?" Danforth asked. Ella was not sure, but she thought she had picked up some insecurity in the voice of Mr. Danforth. A little inner triumph. And so she went on. "Oh, I can't talk about my current case, of course, a matter of professional discretion, but I am happy to tell you about cases I solved before, anonymized, of course." "Nothing at all you could disclose?" "Well, apart from it being a lost person case, nothing, I fear." "Shouldn't you, then, be somewhere else looking for that person?" Lady Agnes answered instead of Ella. "I suppose she is exactly where she should be." "I will not let a mad woman play Sherlock in my house. You, miss, may leave in the morning. I'll ask my driver to give you a lift to the train station." Ella would have left this house and its weird tension with joy, were it not for Danforth and MacArthur being her only clue concerning her search for Pedro. "She is my companion, Mr. Danforth, and if she goes, I go with her, and if I go, rest assured I'm taking Marianne as well." Lady Agnes's support reassured Ella. If I find you poking your nose into things that are none of your business, he threatened. Don't worry, sir. I will only poke my nose into the things that are of my business, Ella replied, feeling up to a little provocation. The rest of the meal passed in uncomfortable silence. Mr. Danforth poked at his food angrily and drank more wine than was healthy for an elderly man. Marianne ate only the smallest portion and jumped a little each time she was approached by one of the footmen serving the table. Ella wondered why a man who was basically living alone in such a big house was entertaining such an army of servants. But maybe some of them were only employed for the wedding. Lady Agnes seemed to be deep in thought, and MacArthur tried to better the atmosphere with an occasional "How delicious!" which was met with more stares and silence. When the women finally retreated to the drawing-room, Lady Agnes addressed Ella enthusiastically. "Well done, Miss Everett. You have given him quite some food for thought." Ella smiled, released to be out of that strange tension. "I fear I annoyed him a little too much, but I just couldn't let it rest." "Of course you couldn't, dear. He fully deserved it." "And I'm afraid we didn't find out more about the whereabouts of the younger Mr. Danforth." "Oh, quite on the contrary, my dear Ella. We found out a lot. At least I did." "Would you mind sharing your learnings?" "Well, given his reactions to your announcement, we can be sure that Lucas Danforth is indeed hiding something, and I will take immense joy in uncovering it." "That's true. Oh, and concerning the younger Mr. Danforth, his grandfather doesn't have a good word for him, which shows me that he is much more of a decent man than I anticipated." Marianne's face lit up. "Are you sure, Aunt Agnes? Do you believe me now? He was very nice and considerate when he came to visit me." "Yes, I do, my dear. But I still want to talk to him personally before you wed him." "Of course you would. I hope so very much that he shows up soon." "He certainly will," Ella tried to reassure Marianne. "MacArthur seemed to believe differently," Lady Agnes contradicted. "My uncle is cross with him. I know as much. They argued the day before he left. I was afraid they might fight." "What did they argue about?" "I couldn't really tell. I'm sorry," Marianne answered, and they turned towards other topics of conversations.